It is an absolute earthquake in the Brown family right now, and the aftershocks are about to bury Kody Brown under the rubble of his own making. For over a decade, we have watched this man systematically destroy his relationships with 3 wives and countless children, all while one woman stood by his side defending his every move. Robyn Brown, the 4th wife, the favorite, the woman who chose Kody over sisterhood and family unity time and time again, has finally cracked. And folks, what she admitted on camera is nothing short of devastating. Robyn Brown looked directly at the cameras and admitted that Kody is emotionally unsafe around her own children. Let that sink in for a moment. This is not coming from Christine, who left and never looked back. This is not coming from Janelle, who finally walked away after decades of neglect. This is coming from Robyn, the woman who has spent years crafting the narrative that her household was the only functional one, that her children were the only ones who truly loved Kody, that she was the only wife who understood him. For her to use the words emotionally unsafe is an admission that shatters everything she has worked so hard to protect. Sources close to the family say this confession did not come easily. One insider revealed that Robyn has been wrestling with this reality for months, torn between her loyalty to Kody and her responsibilities as a mother. Another source put it more bluntly, stating that she finally had to choose between protecting her husband's image and protecting her kids, and for once, she chose her kids. And they are absolutely right. This is the first time in Sister Wives history that Robyn has publicly prioritized her children over Kody's ego, and the significance of that shift cannot be overstated. The weight of this admission is staggering when you consider the history. This is the woman who dismissed the other wives' concerns as jealousy. This is the woman who sat silently while Kody berated Christine's parenting and ignored Janelle's children. This is the woman who, according to multiple reports, actively encouraged Kody's favoritism toward her own kids while the others suffered. For years, fans have begged Robyn to open her eyes to see what everyone else could see so clearly, and now finally, painfully, she has. But this is not just marital trouble brewing in that Flagstaff mansion. This is not just another argument that will blow over by the next episode. This is a mother drawing a line in the sand, and once that line is drawn, there is no going back. The facade that Robyn has spent over a decade carefully constructing is crumbling before our very eyes, and what lies beneath is uglier than anyone could have imagined. The question now is not whether the Brown family can recover from this, but whether anything was ever real to begin with. When Robyn Brown chose the words emotionally unsafe, she was making a calculated decision that speaks volumes about what has been happening behind closed doors. This is not the language of a woman having a bad day with her husband. This is the language of someone who has consulted with therapists, who has done the research, who understands exactly what those words mean in the context of family dynamics. Emotionally unsafe is a clinical term, a serious accusation, and Robyn used it deliberately. For years, fans have accused Robyn of enabling Kody's worst behavior while her children watched and absorbed every toxic interaction. Critics pointed out that she never intervened when Kody dismissed the other children, she never spoke up when he showed blatant favoritism, she never called him out when his temper flared during family discussions. Instead, she sat quietly, sometimes visibly uncomfortable, but always ultimately deferring to Kody's authority, and all the while, her own children were watching, learning, and apparently suffering in ways we are only now beginning to understand. One source familiar with the family dynamics explained that Robyn has always believed she could manage Kody, that she could be the calming influence that kept him grounded. But you cannot manage someone who refuses to be managed, and eventually the mask slips. The insider went on to say that what the cameras captured was just a fraction of what happens when the crew goes home. Another production source allegedly described the atmosphere in Robyn's home as walking on eggshells, where everyone tiptoes around Kody's moods. Let us be brutally honest here. That is not a description of a healthy household. That is a description of emotional dysfunction. The deeper revelations coming from this admission are even more troubling. Production sources have allegedly begun sharing stories that paint a picture far darker than anything we have seen on screen. Family members have reportedly confided in close friends about what really happens during Kody's bad days. And Robyn's children, particularly the older ones who have the words and perspective to articulate their experiences, have allegedly been speaking privately about their stepfather in ways that would shock even the most cynical viewers. What we are going to explore in this video is the complete unraveling of a carefully constructed narrative. We will examine how we got to this breaking point, what insiders are revealing about the current state of Robyn's household, and what this seismic admission mission means for the future of the Brown family. Because make no mistake, folks, this is not just another sister-wives scandal. This is the final domino falling, and once it hits the ground, nothing will ever be the same. But first, we need to rewind and remember just how perfect Robyn always claimed things were. Rewind to just a few seasons ago, and you would have thought Robyn Brown was living in an entirely different family than the other wives. While Christine was breaking down over Kody's neglect and Janelle was struggling to get him to acknowledge her children existed, Robyn was painting a picture of domestic bliss that seemed almost insulting in its contrast. Her home was the one where Kody actually showed up. Her children were the ones who got his attention, his time, his energy, and she never missed an opportunity to remind everyone just how wonderful things were under her roof. Remember when Robyn claimed her kids had the best relationship with Kody out of all the Brown children? She said it with such confidence, such certainty, as if it were simply an objective fact rather than a devastating indictment of how Kody treated his other 16 children. Sources say the other wives were stunned by her audacity. One insider close to Christine allegedly stated that hearing Robyn brag about her kids' relationship with Kody while Christine's children were being actively ignored was like salt in an open wound. And honestly, looking back at those moments now, the lack of self-awareness is absolutely staggering. The staged family dinners, the carefully choreographed holiday celebrations, the tender moments between Kody and Robyn's children that made it onto camera. All of it was presented as evidence that Robyn's household was the model family of the Brown clan. While Mary sat alone in her oversized rental, while Janelle's sons grew increasingly distant from their father, while Christine's daughters begged for scraps of attention, Robyn's kids were shown thriving. Solomon and Ariella got bedtime stories. Dayton and Aurora got heart-to-heart conversations. Brianna got quality time that the other children could only dream about. But here is what makes this so infuriating in retrospect. At the exact same time, Robyn was positioning her household as the functional one. Christine's daughter Isabel was preparing for major spinal surgery while Kody refused to accompany her because of his ridiculous COVID protocols that somehow only applied to the other wives and their children. Janelle's sons were being called disrespectful for daring to question Kody's authority. And Mary's relationship with her own daughter Mariah was strained in part because of the family dysfunction Kody created. The contrast was not accidental. It was deliberate, and Robyn benefited from it every single time. Production sources have revealed that Robyn was very aware of how her family appeared on camera compared to the others. One crew member allegedly stated that she would ask to reshoot scenes if she felt they did not portray her household positively enough. Another source claimed that Robyn would subtly redirect conversations during filming to highlight Kody's engagement with her children while downplaying his absence from other homes. Allow me to translate that for you. She was actively curating the narrative that her family was successful while the others were failing. But behind those staged family dinners and carefully edited confessionals, a different reality was forming. And the cracks in that perfect facade were about to become impossible to hide. Insiders are now revealing that the cracks in Robyn's perfect family began appearing much earlier than anyone realized. And they started with her older children, Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna. The three children Robyn brought into the Brown family from her previous marriage have reportedly been distancing themselves from Kody for months. These are the kids who were adopted by Kody in that tearful ceremony that made for such good television. These are the children who were supposed to represent his commitment to all of Robyn's kids, not just their biological children, Solomon and Ariella. And now, according to multiple sources, they want nothing to do with him. One source close to the family revealed that Dayton in particular has been pulling away since before his graduation from college. The insider claimed that Dayton has seen how Kody treats people, and he wants no part of it. Another source stated that Dayton has been quietly building his own life separate from the Brown family drama, and Kody barely notices because he is too focused on his own grievances. Let that sink in for a moment. The young man Kody adopted, the son he supposedly chose, is allegedly walking away from him without Kody even registering the loss. Aurora's situation is particularly heartbreaking when you examine it closely. Longtime viewers will remember Aurora's documented struggles with anxiety, the panic attacks that have been shown on camera, the visible distress she experiences in high-stress situations. For years, fans have speculated about the role her home environment might play in those struggles. Now, sources are suggesting those speculations were more accurate than anyone wanted to believe. One production insider allegedly stated that Aurora's anxiety episodes seemed to increase whenever there was conflict between Kody and Robyn, and there has been a lot more conflict lately. Another source put it more directly, saying you cannot grow up in that kind of tension and not be affected by it. Reports of Kody's explosive temper affecting Robyn's kids directly have been circulating for some time, but they are now being confirmed by multiple sources. One insider described an incident where Kody allegedly raised raised his voice at one of the younger children over something minor, and the entire household went silent. Another source claimed that Kody's mood swings have become more unpredictable since his other marriages fell apart and the kids have learned to stay out of his way. For those unfamiliar with what this kind of environment does to children, let me explain. It creates hypervigilance, anxiety, and a constant sense of walking on eggshells. Sound familiar? Production sources have allegedly shared that filming in Robyn's home has become increasingly uncomfortable. One crew member reportedly said the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife, and Robyn spends half her time trying to manage Kody's reactions before they escalate. Another source claimed that there have been moments caught on camera that producers chose not to air because they were too intense. The implications of that statement are chilling when you think about it. But it was one specific incident that finally forced Robyn to speak up, and what allegedly happened crosses every line imaginable. Sources close to production are now revealing what allegedly pushed Robyn Brown to finally admit what she had been denying for years. The incident reportedly occurred during a family gathering, and while the specific details vary depending on who is telling the story, the core elements remain consistent across multiple accounts. Kody allegedly lost his temper with one of Robyn's children in a way that could not be excused, explained away, or edited out of existence. One insider described the confrontation as a complete breakdown of control. According to this source, Kody was already in a foul mood, frustrated about filming schedules and ongoing conflicts with his estranged children from other marriages. When one of Robyn's kids allegedly made a comment that Kody perceived as disrespectful, he reportedly unleashed in a way that shocked everyone present. The source claimed it was not just yelling, it was the kind of attack that leaves emotional scars. Another production insider allegedly corroborated this account, stating that multiple crew members witnessed the incident and were visibly uncomfortable. Robyn's reported reaction in that moment reveals everything about the impossible position she has put herself in. According to sources, she initially tried to de-escalate, to calm Kody down, to smooth things over the way she always has. But this time, something was different. One insider claimed that Robyn actually stepped between Kody and her child, physically positioning herself as a barrier. If that account is accurate, it represents a seismic shift in the family dynamics. For years, Robyn has stood beside Kody or behind him. Stepping in front of him to protect her children from his behavior is an entirely different statement. The aftermath of the incident allegedly played out over several days. Sources claim Robyn was torn between her instinct to defend Kody and her responsibilities as a mother. One insider stated that she cried for hours, not just because of what happened, but because she finally had to admit to herself what her children had been living with. Another source put it more bluntly, saying the blinders finally came off and she did not like what she saw. Let us be honest here. This is a woman who has spent over a decade building her identity around being Kody's supporter, his defender, his favorite. Admitting that he is emotionally unsafe means admitting that she was wrong about everything. Kody's pattern of emotional volatility has been documented across recent seasons and his cameo appearances, where he often comes across as defensive, bitter, and unable to accept any responsibility for his fractured family. Viewers have watched him blame Christine for leaving, blame Janelle's sons for not respecting him, blame Mary for the catfish scandal from a decade ago. Everyone else is always at fault in Kody's narrative. So when his behavior finally crossed a line with Robyn's children, his last remaining supporters, it was only a matter of time before even she could not defend him anymore. Robyn was not the only one who witnessed what happened, and the other Brown women have had plenty to say about this revelation. Christine and Janelle's reported responses to Robyn's admission have ranged from vindication to heartbreak, and honestly, they have earned the right to feel both. For years, these women tried to tell anyone who would listen that Kody's behavior was damaging their children. For years, they were painted as the jealous wives, the troublemakers, the ones who could not make plural marriage work. And for years, Robyn sat in her privileged position and watched them struggle while insisting that everything was fine in her own household. Now that she has finally admitted the truth, the other wives are reportedly experiencing a complicated mix of emotions. One source close to Christine stated that her initial reaction was not to say, "I told you so," but rather it was sadness that those kids have been living with what she herself escaped. Christine allegedly feels vindicated on one level, but she also knows firsthand how difficult it is to acknowledge that the man you chose is not who you thought he was. Another insider claimed that Christine has been in contact with some of Robyn's older children, offering support and letting them know they are not alone. If that is true, it speaks volumes about Christine's character, especially given the history between her and Robyn. Janelle's response has reportedly been more direct. Sources say she has been telling people privately that she saw this coming for years, and she is just relieved that Robyn's children might finally get the protection they deserve. One insider quoted Janelle as saying something along the lines signs of those kids deserved better, and maybe now they will get it. Janelle's own sons, Gabe and Garrison, have been vocal about their fractured relationship with Kody, so she understands exactly what it looks like when a father fails his children. The social media activity from both Christine and Janelle in recent weeks has been notably subdued, but eagle-eyed fans have spotted what might be subtle references to the situation. Christine posted a quote about protecting children at all costs. Janelle shared an article about recognizing unhealthy family dynamics. Neither has directly addressed Robyn's admission, but the implications are difficult to miss. Allow me to translate their silence on the matter. They are letting Robyn's words speak for themselves, and that is arguably more powerful than any direct statement could be. The painful irony of this situation is almost too much to bear. Robyn finally understands what the other mothers experienced for years, the gut-wrenching realization that your children are being harmed by someone you love and trusted. She is now walking the path that Christine and Janelle walked before her, and she is discovering that it is far lonelier than she ever imagined. The sisterhood she helped destroy might have been her greatest source of support during this time. Instead, she is facing it largely alone. But Kody's response to being called emotionally unsafe reveals even more about his mindset, and it is not pretty. Kody reportedly did not take Robyn's confession lightly, and his response has only made things exponentially worse. According to multiple sources, when Kody learned that Robyn had used the words emotionally unsafe on camera, he was absolutely furious. Not remorseful, not reflective, not concerned about his children, furious. His immediate reaction, according to one insider, was to blame production for manipulating the footage and claim that Robyn's words were taken out of context. Sound familiar? It should. This is the exact same playbook he has used every single time he has been called out for his behavior. One source close to the family described Kody's denial as pathological, stating that he cannot accept any criticism without deflecting it onto someone else. The insider claimed that Kody has been telling anyone who will listen that the show is edited to make him look bad, that Robyn did not really mean what she said, and that the other wives are somehow behind this narrative. Let us be brutally honest here. When your last remaining wife publicly states that you are emotionally unsafe around her children, the appropriate response is self-reflection and accountability. The Kody Brown response is apparently to double down on victimhood. His recent cameo videos have only reinforced this pattern. Fans who have purchased personalized messages from Kody report that he frequently comes across as defensive, dismissive, and almost delusional about the state of his family. In one widely shared clip, he made a comment about how his family's problems are the fault of people who do not understand plural marriage, conveniently ignoring that his wives have all explicitly stated that plural marriage was not the problem. Another cameo showed him talking about his relationship with his children in a way that suggested he genuinely believes he has done nothing wrong. The disconnect from reality is staggering. Insider claims about arguments between Kody and Robyn following the episode airing paint a picture of a marriage in serious crisis. One source alleged that Robyn has been sleeping in a separate room since the confession aired, unable to face Kody's anger and unwilling to take back what she said. Another insider claimed that Kody has been giving Robyn the silent treatment, a pattern of emotional manipulation that reportedly predates their marriage. If these accounts are accurate, Robyn is now experiencing firsthand the treatment that the other wives endured for years. The irony is absolutely staggering when you consider that Robyn's confession was likely an attempt to protect her children, and Kody's response has been to make everything about himself. Instead of asking what he can do better, he is asking why everyone is attacking him. Instead of listening to his wife's concerns, he is dismissing them as manufactured drama. Instead of prioritizing his children's well-being, he is prioritizing his ego. With his last remaining wife turning against him, Kody may have finally lost everything he claimed to care about. And for the first time, we are hearing what Robyn's kids allegedly think about the man who adopted them. For the first time in the long, sad history of the Sister Wives saga, we are getting glimpses of what Robyn's children allegedly think about their stepfather, and it is not the picture of family harmony that Robyn has spent years trying to project. These kids, who were supposed to be Kody's success stories, the proof that he could be a good father when given the chance, are reportedly struggling with the reality of who he actually is. Dayton, now in his mid-20s, has reportedly been quietly moving toward complete independence from the Brown family drama. Sources claim he has been building a life for himself that does not include Kody in any meaningful way. One insider stated that Dayton has told friends he is tired of being used as a prop to make Kody look like a good dad. Another source alleged that Dayton has been encouraging his younger siblings to focus on their own futures rather than trying to please a father who cannot be pleased. Let that sink in for a moment. The oldest of Robyn's children has apparently reached the same conclusion that so many of Kody's other kids have reached, that having a relationship with him is more trouble than it is worth. Aurora, who has been open about her anxiety struggles on the show, is reportedly in a particularly difficult position. Sources close to the family claim that she has been working with therapists to process her experiences growing up in the Brown household, and what she is uncovering is not easy to face. One insider alleged that Aurora has started to connect her anxiety to the unpredictable nature of her home environment, specifically to never knowing which version of Kody she would encounter on any given day, the happy, engaged father or the angry, dismissive one. If these accounts are accurate, they paint a picture of childhood that was far more traumatic than anything that appeared on camera. The younger children, Solomon and Ariella, present an even more concerning situation. These are Kody's biological children with Robyn, the kids who were supposed to receive the full benefit of his attention and love. Sources say that even these children have begun to sense that something is wrong with their father. One insider claimed that Solomon, now a teenager, has become withdrawn and avoids interacting with Kody when possible. Another source alleged that Ariella, the youngest Brown child, has shown signs of stress that mirror Aurora's anxiety at a similar age. For those keeping track, that is now 3 generations of children affected by Kody's behavior. The broader pattern here is impossible to ignore. Kody's biological children from Christine and Janelle have largely cut him off. His adopted children with Robyn are reportedly distancing themselves, and now even his youngest biological children may be following the same trajectory. One former family friend allegedly stated that Kody will die alone and confused about why none of his kids talk to him. Another insider put it more colorfully, saying he is speedrunning the destruction of every relationship he has ever had. This family fracture has extended far beyond the Brown household entirely, and the ripple effects are reaching places no one expected. TLC executives are reportedly scrambling as the show's final pillar, the Kody and Robyn marriage, crumbles before their very eyes. Sister Wives has survived divorce, estrangement, scandals, and countless controversies over its many seasons, but it has always had one constant, the assumption that Kody and Robyn would remain together as the enduring couple. Now that assumption is being challenged, and the network is allegedly trying to figure out what to do next. Sources within production claim that season 20 was supposed to be a redemption arc of sorts, a chance for Kody to show growth and maybe rebuild some bridges with his estranged children. Instead, it is shaping up to be a documentation of his final relationship's collapse. One insider stated that executives are debating whether to continue the show at all or whether Robyn's confession has made the premise unsustainable. Another source alleged that there have been discussions about shifting focus entirely to Christine's new life in Utah, since she is the only Brown family member who seems to be thriving. Let us be honest here. When your reality show about a polygamist family has been reduced to following the one wife who left, your concept is officially broken. Speculation about whether Robyn might follow Christine and Janelle's path to freedom has reached a fever pitch among fans. Online communities like Reddit have been dissecting every episode, every social media post, every public appearance for signs that Robyn is preparing to leave. Some fans believe she is too financially dependent on Kody to ever walk away. Others think her confession was the first step toward an inevitable divorce. One popular theory suggests that Robyn has already consulted with lawyers but is waiting until after the current season finishes airing to make any moves. The financial complications of a potential Robyn and Kody divorce would be significant. Unlike Christine and Janelle, who had their own homes and could make relatively clean breaks, Robyn and Kody share a mortgage on their notoriously expensive Flagstaff property. They have intertwined finances in ways the other wives never did. And with Kody's income largely tied to the show that Robyn's confession might be ending, the economics of separation are complicated at best. Fan theories about what might be coming next range from the plausible to the wildly speculative. Some believe the show will pivot to become a documentary about healing from plural marriage. Others think Kody will attempt some kind of public redemption tour. A few have even suggested that the entire confession was staged for ratings, though that theory seems to underestimate the genuine pain visible in Robyn's face during her admission. But perhaps the most shocking revelation is what Robyn allegedly told producers off camera, and it changes everything we thought we knew about this family. Robyn Brown's on-camera admission that Kody is emotionally unsafe was devastating enough, but sources claim what she has said privately to producers is even more damning. According to multiple insiders, Robyn has been remarkably candid in off-camera conversations about the true state of her marriage and her regrets about how she handled relationships with the other wives. If these accounts are accurate, we are witnessing not just the end of a marriage, but the complete unraveling of a decade-long narrative. One production source allegedly stated that Robyn has expressed deep regret about her role in the family's dissolution. The insider claimed that Robyn admitted she should have spoken up years ago when she saw how Kody was treating the other children, but she was so focused on protecting her own position that she stayed silent. Another source alleged that Robyn has said she understands now why Christine left and she wishes she had supported her instead of enabling Kody's treatment of her. Let that sink in for a moment. The woman who watched Christine walk away and barely seemed to care is now allegedly saying she wishes she had chosen differently. The magnitude of Robyn's public admission cannot be overstated when placed in the context of the sister wives' legacy. This show began as a curious look into a plural family trying to make an unconventional lifestyle work. It evolved into a documentation of that lifestyle's failure, and now, with Robyn's confession, it has become something else entirely, a cautionary tale about what happens when one person's ego is allowed to destroy everyone around them. Kody Brown started this journey with 4 wives and 18 children who loved him. He is ending it with no intact marriages and a trail of broken relationships stretching across 2 states. The question that hangs over everything now is not whether Robyn will stay or go. It is whether this entire family structure was always doomed to fail, or whether different choices could have led to different outcomes. The evidence suggests that the problems were never really about plural marriage. They were about one man's inability to be accountable, to grow, to put his children's needs before his own ego. Christine saw it and left. Janelle saw it and left. Janella saw it and stayed, but in a marriage that exists in name only. And now Robyn has seen it too, perhaps too late to save her children from the damage already done. So here is the question I want you to answer in the comments below. Do you think Robyn will actually leave Kody, or will she stay despite everything she has admitted? Has the damage to her children already been done, regardless of what she decides now? And most importantly, do you believe Kody is even capable of changing, or is this just who he has always been? Drop your thoughts below, like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The next video is waiting and you will not believe what is coming next.